Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Guitar of the Day. I'm your host Michael Lemmo, and today is yet another Thumpin' Thursday.
Woo!
With my man Greg Cooks.
Hey!
Bass in your face.
Bass in your face.
Well, we have a really cool bass today. I've never seen one of these, and once I saw it, I was like, we gotta demo that. This is a 1967 Gretsch 6071 bass.
Ooh.
That's pretty sexy.
And it is so cool. First of all, first thing I noticed when I picked it up, and I never pick up basses because I'm a guitar player, but is this neck.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. It's really cool. Don't let it scare you. It's actually got some comfort to it, being the way it is.
Yeah, I call this a hog leg where it doesn't. There's no taper at all. It's
Yeah,
just a
hog leg.
Big
That's
fat,
good.
Big fat leg.
Really cool. And it kind of reminds, as Greg mentioned, it's kind of like a Tennessean with the painted on F holes. You got two rests on each side. And one of the coolest things that Greg will show you out front is it's got a mute, and that gives it this really cool sound. I feel like
That's pretty cool.
I'm trying.
Thank you.
But we're gonna give it to Greg. But really cool. I feel like you could get like a lot of cool new sounds. I feel like, I don't know, bands like Tame Impala and stuff, they kind of have that muted sound. I feel like it would be really cool to record some newer type stuff. And it's got that back pad, which is really cool. A few little marks here. This is kind of what happens to like binding parts, especially on Gretches. It's pretty typical. But what'd you think, Greg?
I think it's really cool. It's got a couple switches that have like some capacitors wired in line, some like kind of preset tone controls, like a bass boost, like a bass cut. This one has like a kill switch in it too, so it's got and just one knob, a volume, a master volume.
That's wild.
So and it's got a single pickup, with the blade style humbucker. This is the mute, which is a really cool. It gets some quality tones for sure. For a single pickup instrument, it's got a lot of range.
Look at that bridge with each little.
Yeah, these are you can actually these spacing adjustable brass rollers where you can actually adjust the spacing of it and get it playing exactly the way you want.
Wow.
Yeah, Gretsch always kind of took a lot of extra time to to work out some detailed stuff. Really elegant instruments and just really different from everything else that was being made at the time. But yeah, it has a really rich, really mid-rangey, nice sound. It's got some flats on it right now. I'm not sure what kind, but yeah, it's got a range, more range than you'd expect out of a single pickup than out of a single pickup.
It definitely does. Really organic sounding. It's got a really cool case too that came with it. I can't imagine that it fits in too many cases.
Yeah, it's not.
You got to have something pretty specific for, which we have here. Even has the Gretsch logo and everything. So
the headstock almost looks like a Valley Arts, or the Valley Arts like companies took
something
from this. It's got this little thing. It's interesting. I'm looking at it. What does that remind me of? This 4834 is a serial number. S 4834S, which maybe is short scale. Who knows?
But it's really cool. Are we going to take it out front?
Yeah,
let's do that before we put it away.
Hey everybody, it's Greg Coates here at Norman's Rare Guitars today, and we have a 1967 Gretsch 6071. Looks like a Tennessean bass. It has the painted on F holes and a little single pickup. Really cool little mute switch, so if you want to get that kind of tic-tac kind of thumpy bass sound, you can. It's strung up with flat wounds. Short scale for sure, 0 fret. Big huge baseball bat neck with an ebony fingerboard. Yeah, it looks like ebony, or a very dark. It looks like ebony to me. I thought maybe it was a dark piece of rosewood, but it appears to be ebony. Beautiful instrument, your typical from this period. Button on a back pad, which I believe there's a plastic cover underneath here, which leads to the electronics access. Something very smart that Gretsch got in front of, because things do break and you need to repair them. Switches that I'm going to, we've got a master volume control here. This switch here seems to run a few different capacitors, possibly like preset tone controls, because this is just a volume and there's no actual tone control knobs on here. They did it with switches instead at this time. Sounds like a kind of a bass boost, a bass flat, a bass kind of flat sound, and then like maybe a little bass cut, possibly. Subtle, but definitely some differences in tones there. This switch down here also sounds like a preset tone control, different capacitors in the line. This one, there's a kill switch in case you didn't want to, or you didn't want to make any sound. You can just stop for an interview or whatever. And then this one actually is a little brighter kind of sound. So we only have one pickup, so we gotta go through the switches, like 80 switches on this thing. Kill switch. I can't tell a big difference between those two settings, but there's definitely a kill switch in the middle. And this is what's really cool, is this mechanical mute switch, this crazy apparatus that Gretsch got into back then that was really cool to give you that kind of Motown, just thumpy, upright bass kind of sound, as much as they could approximate that being electric, electric bass guitar. And you actually manually push this, and it pushes this felt bar up into the strings and deadens it. You can kind of vary it a little bit. Brass adjustable saddles on here you can adjust the spacing with, and it looks like a double blade humbucking single pickup here. 2 different thumb bars depending upon if you want to take it from the top or bottom, Brian Wilson style. But very cool. A lot of things that were I would say probably deluxe accommodations as far as basses from this period. This was thought out for a lot of different tones with one single pickup. But anyway, we'll kind of run through everything as much as I can here. This is with everything, from what I can tell, wide open. And it does have flat wounds on it. Kind of bark to it. It's probably the pickup's probably, I would say, comparatively speaking, located where a P bass pickup would be on a P bass. So it's got a good amount of mid range without being overly nasal. Real even. Even has some harmonics. What do you know? And that's with the switches all set as flat as I can tell. This is with like a bass boost. That's with the bass boost. This sounds like a bass cut. A little bit more mid-range presence in that. Basically how they accomplished this was by attaching different value capacitors to the switch, and it just ran the signal through that, cut or boosted certain frequencies. I'll put it back in the middle. I'm assuming that's as flat as we can get here. We'll try, this is the master volume. This is the only knob of control on the whole bass. This is your master volume here. So it's really seems like to be built for every way you can possibly play, whether you play with your thumb, or typically, like most people do, tend to anchor on the bass side and play with their fingers. Really cool that they actually thought about that. And here's the mute. We'll check out the mute here. Now this is going to be a little more killing the sustain, but it gives us kind of really presence to it. That's a really nice presence to it that kind of pokes out. Probably really useful in recordings, I can imagine, to really make the bass back at this time, where that was not as pronounced as it is today, maybe stick through the mix a little bit more. Very cool, real punchy, cool tone that's real even. Pretty dead, but turn that down. Good amount of sustain and growl. Gretsch 1967 6071 Tennessean bass, I'm going to guess, because of the painted on F holes. Really cool bass. A lot of personality. A lot of different little controls to get as much out of it as you possibly can with a single pickup. And it's I imagine a very useful machine in the studio. Something that's got a lot of variety for having one pickup. Really cool, nice and lightweight, and huge neck. I love huge necks, being an upright bass player, something to really kind of get a hold of and lean into. Beautiful instrument. So come on down to Norm's and check out the Gretsch 6071 Gretsch bass.
Bye.
Bye.